Chosen one, listen closely. If you found this message, treat it as a timely briefing rather than a coincidence. A shift is underway, a move from expectation to realization. And you're being asked to respond with clear thinking, steady choices, and quiet faith. What you've prayed over and hoped for is no longer an idea on the horizon. It's crossing into your daily life. This is more than a mindset tweak. It's a practical, spiritual recalibration that asks you to step back from noise, reduce exposure to confusion, and accept a form of protection that positions you to act wisely when pressure rises. You are being directed to step away, not in fear, but in order. Think of this as a strategic relocation into a quieter space where your spirit can reset and your next steps can take shape without interference. History and faith traditions are full of moments like this. People are moved aside before the wider storm arrives. The instruction is simple. Create distance from the pull of panic and draw close to what strengthens your judgment. That can mean decreasing certain conversations, pausing some commitments, cutting down on media inputs, and recentering your day around prayer, reflection, and a few essential tasks done well. If your inner life feels tense or unusually heavy, acknowledge it. That pressure often signals transition. You are not imagining the urgency. You are being alerted to prepare. The aim is not to hide from the world. The aim is to be ready while others are surprised. You are not ordinary, and your path does not end in collapse. You have been carried through too much to be left uncovered now. Use this period to put your foundation in order. Sleep on time. Keep your environment simple. Eat for steady energy. And limit interactions that drain clarity. These are not small adjustments. They are part of a wider safeguarding. Consider the idea of a hideout as a focused margin rather than a distant place. It might be a quiet room, a daily walk, a corner of a library, a house of worship, a park bench near water, any location where you can hear your own thoughts and sense God's leading without friction. Training often happens away from the crowd. Strength is built in plain spaces where attention isn't divided. Give yourself that room. 10 minutes of undistracted stillness is better than an hour of scattered scrolling. Short routines, repeated consistently, change outcomes. Time will not run on your usual schedule in this period. Progress may feel slow in the moment and then arrive all at once. Accept that both experiences can be true. Your body might ask for more rest, not because you're lazy, but because your nervous system needs relief from constant alerts and constant urgency. When your mind goes quiet in an unfamiliar way, let it. Surgeons perform repair while a patient sleeps. Similarly, God works in silence when words would only add confusion. Rest is part of the plan, not a deviation from it. You may also notice a pull away from familiar patterns. Routines that used to fit feel tight. Interests shift, and conversations that once energized you now drain you. See this as relocation in the inner life before any external move. Roots are being loosened from hard soil and prepared for a better field. Your task is not to cling to what's fading. Your task is to cooperate with sensible change. If certain opportunities stop calling your name, do not chase them. If specific relationships pause, resist the urge to explain yourself into exhaustion. Absence can be protection. Delay can be redirection. A closed door may be a proof of care more than a sign of judgment. Protection is not random. Think about the near misses, the unusual schedule changes, the unexpected cancellations that turned out to be wise. Those were not accidents. They were precise detours. Many traps look like favors at first. Not every invitation is a blessing. Some are simply tests of attention. Use 2 checks before saying yes. Will this decision make me more aligned with my purpose or less? Will it increase my peace or cost it? If the answer is uncertain, you are free to pause. Answers that must be rushed are rarely the right ones. As global systems wobble, economies, politics, supply lines, do not borrow the anxiety of headlines. A steady life is built by consistent habits, honest numbers, and clean boundaries. Keep a simple budget. Pay what you owe on time. Build a small reserve, even if it grows slowly. Plan your week. Prioritize the one task that moves things forward rather than 10 that keep you busy. Limit commentary that inflames your mood. Through steady, modest actions, you'll discover how much peace can be defended by structure alone. Your body is part of this protection plan. Treat it accordingly. Walk daily. Drink water. Breathe deeply when tension spikes. Limit stimulants when you're already on edge. Step into sunlight in the morning if you can. Stretch the stiffness from your shoulders and jaw. These baseline choices reduce reactivity and lengthen your fuse. They also improve discernment. It's easier to hear guidance when your system isn't drowning in constant adrenaline. Sacred spaces matter. Whether a church, mosque, synagogue, temple, small group, or quiet hilltop, places set apart for reverence have a way of clearing clutter from the mind. You are not being asked to perform rituals you don't believe in. You are being invited to seek calm where generations have sought it before. Sit, breathe, listen. You may notice tears without explanation, or a wave of quiet, or a simple idea that feels right-sized and actionable. Capture it. Don't overcomplicate what arrives in that stillness. One useful sentence can correct a week's worth of drift. Do not fear isolation. Solitude is different from loneliness. In solitude, you recover judgment. In loneliness, you forget it. Many were prepared in seasons of obscurity before they stepped into public work. The pattern is common and sensible. Withdrawal for clarity, re-entry for impact. If your circle narrows, use it well. Read what sharpens insight. Pray in your own words. Journal decisions and reasons. Sleep enough that your mood can stabilize. When the spotlight returns, bring competence and character rather than performance and volume. If closed doors multiply, resist panic. You are not being punished. You are being rerouted away from arrangements that would have drained you. Some declines are rescues. Some rejections are reallocations. With time, the pattern becomes visible. What left made room for what fits. When plans collapse, repair your basics before chasing new projects. Check your finances, your schedule, your health, your closest relationships. Patch the simple holes. Then take the next right step, not the most impressive one. Guard your inputs. You don't need hourly updates that you cannot influence. Choose a reliable briefing once or twice a day, and then return to your assignments. Fear grows where context is missing and repetition is high. Information hygiene is a form of self-defense. So is conversational hygiene. Speak with people who are building something real, who honor boundaries, and who tell the truth even when it's inconvenient. Reduce time with those who thrive on outrage, gossip, or constant urgency. Atmosphere shapes outcomes. When inner fog sets in, you're not defective. You're under a protective pause while a course correction loads. Do not force movement when visibility is low. Use checklists for essential tasks. Defer non-urgent choices. Put a note on your desk that reads, "Keep it simple today." Simple days stack into stable weeks. Stable weeks make you resilient when the outside world shakes. You may sense your role changing. What you offered in the last season may no longer be what's needed now. Accept that assignments evolve, skills expand, audiences shift. Responsibility often moves from doing to directing, or from being everywhere to being precise. Ask for updated instructions in prayer. Then watch for confirmation through timing, doors that fit, and counsel from steady people who know your character. If your old brook dried up, look for the new source rather than arguing with an empty stream. Expect the return of peace, not as a rare event, but as a daily anchor. This calm doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It's the byproduct of alignment. Values, schedule, finances, relationships, and faith moving in the same direction. Peace becomes your baseline when you stop arguing with what you already know is right. When chaos rises in the room, breathe, lower your voice, speak to facts, and choose one constructive action. Quiet authority often does more than loud outrage. Provision will follow order. When your life is arranged around purpose and integrity, resources tend to flow toward what you're building. You don't need to chase every chance. You do need to steward the ones that fit. Keep records. Put agreements in writing. Deliver on time. If you cannot meet a commitment, communicate early, own the problem, and propose a revised plan. Reliability is a long-term magnet for favor. Your name is being untangled from cycles of needless conflict. That will look like fewer invitations to debates that go nowhere, fewer entanglements with people who won't honor boundaries, and fewer surprises from commitments you never agreed to. You are not required to explain your no. A short, respectful decline protects everyone's time. As your life simplifies, new doors will open that match your capacity and values. Walk through them without fanfare. If fear tries to set the pace, slow down. Urgency created by insight is useful. Urgency created by manipulation is a trap. When someone demands an instant answer to a complex decision, the answer is almost always not yet. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to sleep on it. You're allowed to ask for terms in writing. Pressure that disrespects your need to consider is not trustworthy. This period will also expose mismatches in your environment. Work that no longer aligns, habits that sabotage energy, relationships that require constant repair. You don't need to announce endings with drama. Begin by adjusting access and expectations. Reduce frequency, narrow scope, clarify terms. If change is resisted, you've learned what you needed to know. Exit with courtesy, keep records, and release the weight. Not every bridge must burn. Many doors close quietly and stay closed for good reasons. Do not be surprised if your health improves as your life simplifies. Stress compounds harm, steadiness compounds healing. The body often responds quickly to better rhythms. Small changes, consistent sleep, daily movement, better hydration, create surprising lift. As vitality returns, avoid overcommitting to prove you're back. Protect your gains. Strength is not an invitation to overload. It's capacity to carry what matters well. Use this time to gather proof of what works. Save notes of appreciation, capture outcomes, track processes that reduce mistakes. In difficult weeks, revisit your archive to remember that progress is real and that your efforts matter. Evidence calms the mind when feelings swing. People will notice the difference in you before you say much about it. They'll comment on your steadiness, your clarity, your refusal to be baited by chaos. Some will be drawn to it. Others may be uncomfortable because it reveals their own constant reactivity. Let people react as they will. You don't need to fix anyone. Offer help when asked, model what you practice, and keep moving. As conditions shift worldwide, remember that preparedness is not paranoia. Keep a modest cushion at home. Basic supplies, a simple plan for communication with loved ones, and a list of priorities if disruptions occur. The goal is not to hoard or spread fear. The goal is to avoid unnecessary stress when the unexpected happens. Calm planning is an act of care for yourself and for those who rely on you. Generosity remains part of the assignment. As your life stabilizes, set aside a portion of time and resources to strengthen others. Give in ways that promote dignity and independence. Teach what you've learned to people who are ready to listen. Share tools, not just opinions. The good you spread returns as resilience in your community and perspective in your own heart. Above all, stay honest with God and with yourself. Pray simply, speak plainly, ask for wisdom, and then act on what you receive. You don't need lofty language to be heard. You need a willing posture and consistent follow-through. When answers come, write them down. When doors open, evaluate them with a clear head. When you make mistakes, correct them without self-condemnation. Growth is rarely dramatic. It is usually a series of small, faithful choices. This is your briefing. Step back from noise. Reduce exposure to chaos. Create a modest refuge. Strengthen your body. Protect your calendar. Test every invitation. and wait for peace to lead your decisions. These are practical acts of trust. They look ordinary, but they place you under a covering that many overlook because it lacks spectacle. Ordinary faithfulness is heavy armor. You are not being sidelined. You are being prepared. When the wider storm intensifies, you will not be tossed around. You will be the calm voice, the clear plan, the steady presence. You will help others stabilize because you practiced stability when it was quiet. That is leadership in its most useful form. Hold this line. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not at the mercy of headlines. You are being positioned to act with wisdom while others scramble. Keep your agreements. Keep your spirit clean. Keep your steps small and steady. The path will keep appearing as you honor the next right thing. We will pick up from here in Part 2 by moving from preparation to implementation. How to re-enter busier spaces without losing your peace. How to make decisions under pressure without regret. And how to carry influence responsibly when new doors open. Chosen one. Let's continue exactly where we left off and move from preparation to implementation. You've cleared noise, tightened boundaries, and built a quiet margin. Now you'll re-enter busier spaces without losing your center. Treat this as a field manual for real conditions, conversations that escalate, deadlines that compress, and invitations that sound urgent but lack substance. The objective is consistent. Guard your peace, act with precision, and build outcomes that last. Start your day before the day starts. That means you decide your first inputs instead of letting alerts decide for you. Keep your opening minutes simple and repeatable. Hydrate, breathe, review 3 priorities, and pray in plain language for guidance and steadiness. If you need a metric, the first hour is for formation, not performance. The work will wait. Your inner alignment won't. When the opening hour is consistent, the rest of your schedule stops feeling like a chase. Re-enter conversations with clarity rules. Speak to what you know, ask for what you need, and decline the rest. If someone pushes for quick decisions, respond with timelines that respect your process. I'll review this and get back to you tomorrow afternoon. That sentence protects your analysis window without creating conflict. When you do answer, be brief, be specific, and anchor to facts. You're not rewarded for long explanations. You're respected for accurate commitments. Handle pressure by shrinking the frame. Under stress, complex tasks look impossible because you're trying to finish the whole thing at once. Rename the work into the next visible step and complete it within a defined block of time. Send the draft, request the data, schedule the call, reconcile the numbers, ship the version. Every completed component reduces anxiety and creates momentum that panic cannot counterfeit. Deliver small wins that move the real project, not performative tasks that only look like progress. Make decisions with a 2-layer filter. Principles first, then preferences. Principles are non-negotiables: integrity, financial prudence, legal compliance, healthy boundaries, spiritual alignment. Preferences are negotiable: timelines, formats, styles, personalities. If a choice violates a principle, it's not a fit regardless of potential gain. If a choice meets your principles but stretches a preference, it might be an opportunity for growth. This filter eliminates much of the noise that makes choices feel overwhelming. Guard your calendar at the edges. Start meetings on time and end them on time. If a discussion drifts, restate the purpose and propose an action. To land this, here are the 2 decisions we need. If the group needs more information, stop guessing and assign ownership. Let's gather the figures by 3 p.m., then decide. Loose meetings steal hours. Tight meetings give them back. You can be gracious and firm in the same sentence. Carry influence responsibly by making your work traceable. Keep brief notes on decisions: what was chosen, why it was chosen, who will act, and by when. This isn't bureaucracy. It's memory insurance when pressure rises. Traceability protects you from confusion and protects others from assumptions. When something drifts, you'll know exactly where to look and how to correct without blame. Enter high-stakes rooms with two objectives: clarity and credibility. Clarity means you bring a distilled point of view, a one-sentence statement of the problem, a one-paragraph outline of the options, and a clear recommendation with trade-offs noted. Credibility means you ground claims in verified data and lived constraints, not wishful thinking. If you don't know, say so plainly and propose how you'll find out. Honesty under pressure builds a reputation that carries further than bravado ever will. Keep your emotions as signals, not steering wheels. Frustration tells you a boundary was crossed. Fear tells you facts are missing. And guilt often tells you expectations are mismatched. Translate the feeling into a corrective action. If a boundary was crossed, restate it. If facts are missing, request them. If expectations are mismatched, renegotiate scope. Emotion becomes useful when it points to the next responsible step. Maintain pace without burnout by calculating effort in seasons. Heavy push, light push, stabilize. No project sustains sprint mode forever. If you completed a heavy push, schedule a stabilization window where you document processes, fix small bugs, and return to baseline sleep. Restoration is part of responsible output. Uninterrupted strain looks productive now and becomes expensive later. When a new door opens, evaluate it with 5 quick tests: alignment with purpose, required resources, opportunity cost, risk exposure, and renewability. Alignment asks whether this opportunity fits who you are becoming. Required resources ask whether you have the time, attention, and capital to do it right. Opportunity cost asks what must be delayed or dropped. Risk exposure asks what happens if this fails and whether the downside is survivable. Renewability asks if the door can be revisited later or if it's truly one time. Most once-in-a-lifetime pitches are not. Sober evaluation protects you from forced yeses. Build relationships with a bias toward reciprocity and clarity. Early in a connection, define how you can help and how help returns to the work. Share information generously, not recklessly. Credit people publicly and correct privately. If conflict arises, address it in simple language. State what happened, how it affected outcomes, and propose a fix. Avoid stories about motives. Stick to behaviors and impacts. This keeps dignity intact while improving performance. Reduce conflict by using scripts that lower temperature. When tension rises, say, "I hear your concern. Here's what I can do today. Here's what I can't do. And here's when I can revisit the rest." This structure acknowledges, sets limits, and gives a next step. It prevents resentment from building around vague promises. Clarity is kindness when stakes are high. Put your money where your values are. Whether leading a team or managing a household, budgets reveal priorities. Fund essentials first, margin second, growth third, generosity fourth, and avoid commitments that depend on perfect months. You're building resilience, not impressing anyone. A simple budget with actual numbers calms the mind more than motivational speeches ever will. Use technology to serve your attention, not fracture it. Silence non-critical notifications. Batch communications twice or 3 times a day. Keep one trusted capture system for tasks and ideas, paper, app, or both, and review it daily. The goal is a brain that thinks, not a brain that searches for where it wrote things down. Reliable systems free you to focus on the real work. When you mentor others, teach them your decision filters and your recovery practices. Show your team how you protect mornings, how you document, how you say no, and how you return to baseline after a heavy push. The most generous leaders transfer habits, not just information. As your influence grows, your real product is people who can operate with integrity when you're not in the room. Expect old patterns to test your growth. People may try to pull you back into urgency loops or guilt-driven favors. You don't owe access to everyone who had it before. Offer clear boundaries with short reasons, not long apologies. That approach doesn't work for me anymore. Here's the new process. Consistency trains your environment. If pushback continues, lower access further. Every yes has a cost. Spend them like a steward, not a spender. Handle mistakes quickly and cleanly. When you miss, acknowledge the miss, state the cause without excuses, present the fix, and outline the prevention. Most people don't need perfection. They need trust that problems won't be hidden. Owning errors ends rumor cycles and builds credibility that no marketing can buy. Stay teachable by setting a review rhythm. Weekly, ask what worked, what didn't, what you'll stop, start, and continue. Monthly, check whether your calendar reflects your stated priorities. Quarterly, measure whether your work is producing outcomes or merely activity. If results lag, simplify scope before increasing effort. Complexity often masquerades as sophistication. Clarity is usually the sharper tool. Guard your speech. Words can escalate rooms or heal them. Replace absolute claims with precise ones. Replace accusations with observations. Replace venting in public with processing in private. Your voice carries weight now. Aim it at solutions. Elevated influence means your casual sentences become someone else's action items. Speak carefully. When you step onto larger platforms, bring integrity to scale. Verify facts before sharing them. Cite source. Avoid participating in outrage economies. Offer context when discussing sensitive topics. Ask yourself, will this help people make better decisions? If not, reconsider. Reach without responsibility is noise. Reach with responsibility stabilizes communities. Prepare for seasons when visibility rises quickly. Sudden attention can distort priorities and invite opportunists. Keep your inner circle small and time-tested. Separate public praise from private evaluation. Not every compliment is counsel. Not every criticism is a cue to change. Filter feedback through mission and metrics. Adjust where it improves outcomes. Ignore what only demands performance. Stay rooted in practice, not image. The work speaks over time. Publish useful ideas, build reliable processes, solve real problems, and help more than you advertise. The world remembers builders who make life better. Fame is a moving target. Contribution compounds. Let generosity be strategic. Give where your help creates independence, not dependency. Fund skill building, education, tools, and bridges to dignified income. Share introductions wisely and follow through when you promise to connect people. Your name travels with those referrals. Protect it. Care for your body like a long-distance runner, not a sprinter desperate to impress the crowd. Schedule recovery the way you schedule deliverables. Sleep before you're exhausted. Move daily even on heavy work days, especially on heavy work days. Keep meals steady rather than dramatic. Your clarity, your patience, and your discernment improve when your physiology is stable. Navigate crisis communications with a calm sequence. Gather facts, verify, decide, communicate, act, and follow up. Do not speculate publicly. If the best response is, "We're still confirming details," say so, and return with updates as promised. Reliability under uncertainty builds trust that outlasts the crisis itself. Structure collaboration around written plans. Who will do what by when, and how will we know it's done? This sentence changes projects. Add a check-in date before the deadline to catch drift early. When multiple teams are involved, appoint a single owner with authority to coordinate. Shared responsibility without ownership creates confusion. Ownership creates velocity. Refuse to glorify exhaustion. You are not more virtuous because you're depleted. You are more vulnerable. Turn quick wins into sustainable systems rather than constant heroics. Sustainable systems keep you effective when enthusiasm dips and keep your team protected when you step away. Use endings to honor seasons that served you. When a role, project, or relationship completes, close it thoughtfully. Acknowledge contributions, record lessons, return borrowed items, clear accounts, and bless the future, even if paths diverge. Clean exits prevent lingering friction that steals attention from your next assignment. Practice gratitude as a stabilizer, not a performance. Write down 3 specific things you're grateful for: names, events, provisions, and why. Specificity engages the mind. Generality numbs it. Gratitude doesn't deny hardship. It reminds you of resources already present to face it. Keep your spiritual life simple and consistent. Speak with God regularly in your own words. Ask for wisdom before meetings, patience before conversations, and courage before decisions. Read a short passage and apply 1 sentence to your day. Complexity is not required for depth. Honesty is: expect the unexpected and plan minimally for it. Keep a modest emergency kit, a list of must-call contacts, and a cash cushion appropriate to your situation. Have copies of critical documents and a backup of essential files. Test your plan once, then return to normal life. Preparedness reduces drama when disruptions arrive. Preserve your name. Your reputation is worth more than any short-term gain. Choose transparency in financial matters, consistency in commitments, and humility when praised. If your name enters rooms before you do, and it will, let it bring trust with it. Teach your household the calm protocols you practice. Shared calendars reduce conflict. Clear chores reduce resentment. A weekly family review reduces surprises. When the home is orderly, your outside work receives energy instead of losing it. Hold space for rest that is truly restorative. Time with those who make you better. Beauty that quiets your mind, nature that resets your nervous system, silence that helps you hear what matters. Rest is not the absence of responsibility. It is the renewal that makes responsibility possible. Stand firm when storms gain volume. Remember what you set in Part 1. Fewer inputs, strong boundaries, a simple budget, and a clear morning. In Part 2, you apply it under real pressure. You will not be perfect. You will be consistent. Consistency wins when conditions are uneven. As influence expands, resist the temptation to dilute standards to keep momentum. Growth should clarify values, not blur them. Say less when speculation is tempting. Ask more when certainty is thin. Surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth kindly and early. Reward that honesty. When trauma from past seasons echoes, slow down. Ground yourself in the present by naming 5 things you can see, 4 you can feel, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. Then return to your priorities. Your past can inform you without steering you. Recognize that some bridges must remain closed. Not every relationship benefits from reconnection, especially if respect was absent or truth distorted. Forgiveness can be real while access remains limited. You're responsible for your heart. You are not required to resume harmful patterns. Measure progress by outcomes that matter. Healthier relationships, solvent finances, sound sleep, steadier mood, projects finished, promises kept, people helped. Post counts, likes, and applause are proxies at best. Real metrics keep you aligned when easy metrics try to seduce your focus. When you face a genuine fork in the road, take it to stillness before you take it to the crowd. Seek counsel from wise, steady people who know your character and will challenge you without agenda. Then act. Indecision is a decision that drains both options. Boldness guided by principle is safer than drift guided by fear. Finally, remember why you're doing this. You're not developing control for its own sake. You're cultivating freedom to do the right work without being yanked by every disturbance. You're building a life that can carry weight without cracking. And you're modeling a path others can follow when pressure arrives at their door. You are ready to operate in public with the same integrity you practiced in private. Keep your mornings quiet, your words measured, your boundaries clear, your budget honest, your body cared for, and your spirit in conversation with God. When new doors open, and they will, walk through them with a calm yes or a clean no. The world may shake. You will remain steady. The storm may roar. You will move with purpose. This is how you carry peace into rooms that have forgotten it and build outcomes that outlast noise.